What is going on, guys? Welcome back. My name is Dane and I am here to help you guys learn. As you can tell, I'm trustworthy because I have books in the background of my shot, so that means I'm smart. Moving forward, today we're going to be talking about how to eat smarter so that the calories that you do eat make you fuller, last longer, are generally healthier, and help you lose that weight that you want to lose for the summer months. So this is a part 2 of a 2-part series where the first part we talked about the whole calories in, calories out type of thing, and we talked about how to expend more calories a little bit more intelligently, how to use science and the way that your body actually uses energy to help you burn calories a lot more effectively instead of just running endless miles on the treadmill. So if you're interested in that, that'll be linked in the description and also right up here. But today we're going to be talking about eating, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. But first, I want to talk a little bit more about the whole a calorie is not a calorie is a calorie, but all calories are not created equal kind of thing. It's a whole big mess. And let me tell you, a lot of people disagree with it in the whole health sphere. So that's why you may be a little bit confused. Oh, I heard that a calorie is not just a calorie, or a calorie is just It's a mess. You're not the only one that's confused. A lot of people are. And here's why. Thermodynamically speaking, a calorie is just a calorie. You're not going to break thermodynamics by eating a Twinkie versus kale, okay? If you eat, 100 calories of kale versus 100 calories of Twinkies, same amount of weight is going to be gained or lost. That's just how thermodynamics work. However, if you increase the quality of the calories that you consume, your health will increase. So just because you are losing weight does not mean you are becoming healthier. They often are correlated, but it's not always the case. So I think several years ago, there was a famous professor who, he was a professor who became famous for losing like 20-something pounds in 2 months by only eating like Twinkies, Oreos, and Doritos. And while he said that it's proof that a calorie is just a calorie, and if you eat less than you burn, you will lose weight. The thing is, he said he would never recommend it because it's incredibly unhealthy and he just felt awful the whole time. So, a calorie is a calorie energetically, right, when it comes to energy, but depending on the actual health of the food, a calorie can be very different from an apple versus an Oreo. So with that being said, let's talk about how to eat a little bit more intelligently so that we can maybe not eat quite as many calories and eat a little bit higher quality calories. So let's get into it. So I want to start off by saying that if you're confused by any nutritional advice you may have heard or how to be healthy, there's so much information, and I don't blame you for being confused because this may surprise you, but not all companies, whether they're health or food companies, are out there for your best interest. They're out here to make money. So don't get me wrong, there are some companies that are really good. They care about their customers and all that stuff, but the vast majority of them out there are they're with this capitalist society trying to make the most money. So any health claims you see on products, that's just really to bump up sales. If I'm being honest, I would pretty much count any health claims on food labels as being irrelevant because it's more or less a marketing ploy than health advice. So with that in mind, don't feel bad if you're confused by any of the vast, crazy amount of health information out there because it is crazy confusing. But I did my best to put it all together, parse the good stuff from the bad stuff, and deliver it to you guys. And I don't make a dime, so you can trust me. So let's start off by talking about different micronutrients. I'm not going to get too into this because if you really care and it's really interesting to you, just do some research because it is pretty cool stuff. But I'm not going to get too into this because it's out there. This stuff is just widely known. So the three big macronutrients, if you're not already aware, we have carbohydrates, we have fats, and we have proteins. These are the three things in food that give you energy. So if you were wondering where the calories come from, for every 1 gram of carbohydrates that you eat, there's 4 calories. For every 1 gram of protein that you eat, there's 4 calories. For every 1 gram of fat that you eat, there's 9 calories, okay? So when people say like cooking with oils and using high-fat foods is bad for you, it's not always the case, but it's very calorie dense for the volume of food. So you have to kind of be aware of the density of the calories of the high-fat foods. So the high-fat foods are not bad, they are just very calorie dense. So those are the 3 macronutrients. There's a lot of really cool information about them on the internet, and you know, keto diet plays with them, and vegan diet plays with them, and all these different diets play with the levels of macronutrients to some extent. But really, for overall health, just have a healthy balance. I wouldn't go to any extremes unless you really want to try to experiment with your own body. But general health, just keep it kind of consistent, kind of even. Micronutrients. These are what everyone is crazy about. So if you ever look up like why something might be a superfood, it's always about the micronutrients. There's always these little vitamins, minerals, and otherwise chemicals in your food that make it healthy. And they can be doing anything in your body from, you know, fighting free radicals or destroying cancer cells, or, you know, being little secret agents that help your immune system. That's a really bad explanation. Basically, they're just vitamins, minerals, and molecules that help your body function to its best. The thing is, when you don't get enough of these particular micronutrients, your body kind of sends hunger signals to your brain saying, hey, listen, I'm not getting what I'm needing here. You know, I need more vitamin A, so you gotta eat more food until I get that vitamin A. Or I really need some more vitamin C, so we're gonna be craving this food that has some vitamin C. So, if you're eating a junk diet, like the standard American diet, if you're eating sugary cereals for breakfast, and then you go and get a pizza for lunch, and then you have, I don't know, a TV dinner, and then you have cake for dessert, you might be hitting your calories dead on. You might be getting exactly the right amount of calories that you need, but then you're still ravenously hungry because your body needs those micronutrients, and it's telling your body is telling your brain, I didn't get the micronutrients that I need, so you gotta eat more, man. You gotta give me those micronutrients. So if you ever wonder, like, man, I ate so much and I'm still feeling hungry, check the quality of the food that you ate. And if you realize that, man, I just ate 6 pounds of bread, you know, you're not getting those micronutrients, you're not getting anything that's gonna satiate that part of your body. So that's the first tip. Just make sure that you're eating a well-rounded, balanced diet. And the micronutrients will typically work themselves out if you're eating generally healthy. So that's tip number 1. So you might be thinking, eating all these micronutrients, and keeping balance of calories and everything, it's getting so, it's difficult, it's hard. And you're right, keeping track of all that it's hard, and I keep track of calories and kind of my macros, but really, I don't stress about it too much. You know, I'd be aware of my calories, but don't stress about your calories, because stress just makes everything harder. So be aware of it, but don't stress about it. So getting the right balance of micronutrients, macronutrients, and everything else really falls into a few really key things. 3 very important key things that I actually, I stole this from a book that I read, because for a while I didn't have the language to express how to do it in a very clear, concise way. But Michael Pollan's book, In Defense of Food, excellent book. I highly recommend it if you ever have the time or energy to pick up a book and read it. Excellent book, well written, he's a beautiful author. So Michael Pollan's book, In Defense of Food. And in that book, he has 3 rules. Eat real food, mostly plants, not too much. Those are the 3 things. If you do those 3 things, you'll be healthy and you'll lose weight. You know, if that's your goal. If you do those 3 things, you'll be healthy, right? If you're trying to lose weight and keeping your calories the way you're supposed to, you're gonna lose weight. You're gonna feel good and you're gonna look good. So the first one, eat real food. You would be surprised at what food markets and grocery stores sell. That's like not real food, right? Like easy cheese, for example. It's not real cheese. That's why they label it as cheese product. It's not cheese. It's not dairy at all. It's just a bunch of chemicals. And it kind of a little bit tastes like cheese. So the first rule is to eat real whole foods, okay? If you can find it in nature or you know where it's retrieved from and you know how it's processed, you can eat it then, that's fine. But if you can't, then don't eat it. Don't put it in your mouth, okay? So like, for example, an Oreo. I don't know what's in an Oreo. And if you look at the label, you look at the ingredients, I don't know what those things are. I wouldn't know where to find, I don't even know what's in an Oreo. But I can guarantee I wouldn't even know where to find any of the ingredients in the wild. You look at a sweet potato, and you're like, hey, I know where that's from. That gets planted in the dirt and grows, and then you can grab it out of the ground, and it's food. So you can kind of get an idea of what's real food, what's real whole food, and what's not real food. So basically a good rule of thumb is if it's in a box or package at the grocery store, not real food. Typically, I mean, there's always some exceptions, right? But typically, you know, if it's in a box, if it's in a container, oftentimes it's not real food. So that's the first tip, eat real whole foods. That's gonna get you 80% of the way there, easy peasy. The second one is mostly plants. This is gonna be weird for some of you because if you know me at all, if you know anything about humans, really, we like meat, a lot of people. And I'm not saying that you have to be vegetarian or vegan, because I do think that eating meat is good for you and it has its place. That being said, you really don't need to eat meat every meal, every day, okay? Mostly plants, eat mostly plants. And then occasionally, once a day, twice a day, once every 2 days, whatever, have some meat if you want, if that's your thing, okay? You don't have to go vegan, you don't have to go vegetarian. And in fact, if you do, I would recommend doing some supplementation because meat actually provides you with some really important nutrients that you don't get otherwise. But that being said, eat mostly plants, maybe a little meat here and there. And yeah, that's number 2. Number 3 is not too much. So this is where the whole calories thing comes in, and this is where you don't want to eat too many calories, okay? So just keep an eye on your calorie consumption, but you know, don't stress too much about it. If you're over a couple days in a row, whatever. If you're under a couple days in a row, whatever. You know, if you're under for a full week, then that's probably not good. If you're over for a full week, it's probably also not good. You want to kind of tailor your calories to your goals, you know? Be aware of it, but don't stress about it. Okay, that's kind of the big theme of what I'm trying to convey here. So those are the 3 things. If you eat, wow, that was bad words. Those are the 3 things. If you eat whole, real foods, mostly plants, and not too much. You do that, you are well on your way to living a healthy and happy life. Amazing, easy peasy. So now comes the hard part, doing it. So guys, if you like this video, let me know. Also, if you found anything of this confusing, because I know it is really confusing. If you want clarification on anything, I'd be happy to give it to you. Just leave it something in a comment below and I'll try my best to clarify it. If you have any questions, likewise, just send it down below and I'll do my best to answer your questions. If you didn't check out the first part where we talked about how to expend more energy so that you can get all shredded and good looking for the summer. I know you're already good looking, but you know, a little bit of a 6-pack abs and yeah, nice well-developed butt, I mean, it doesn't hurt. Anyway, guys, I'll link below a calorie calculator. If you have no idea even where to start with the amount of calories, I know that if you download any of the calorie counting apps, it probably already takes you through a process of figuring out your calories and all that. But either way, I linked down in the below a calorie calculator just to kind of get an idea of where to start. I wouldn't take that number that it gives you as gospel. You know, everyone's going to be a little bit different, but it always gives you a good starting point. So you put your different numbers in there, your age and weight, whatever, and it spits out a little number, and then you eat calories equal to that number for, I don't know, a couple weeks, and then see if your weight goes up or down. You can kind of tailor the amount of calories that you eat based on how the scale moves. So if you are eating that amount of calories and you realize that you're gaining weight, then reduce the amount of calories until you're losing weight. And you know, that's how you do it. Yeah, otherwise, if you like the video, leave a thumbs up. If you like me, go ahead and subscribe. And if you find this at all helpful, then check out the things on the channel, the things that are called videos. They have the box and they have words and titles and they're fun to watch. So I do some silly things and more informational things, and hopefully you guys enjoy. So see you on the next one. Peace.